Ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Head in the Cloud, Heart and Community. This is episode 3. My name is Holly Lehman. You can find me on Twitter at Lehman__Holly. I am so excited to have everybody joining us today for this exciting session. I would like to introduce my friend, because as we know, although I am in Seattle, Washington, I never travel alone. Izzy?
Hey, Holly, so great to see you again. I'm very happy to do episode 3. I'm also super excited for our guest today, who is from Dundee, which is the 4th largest city in Scotland. She has recorded, I believe, over 20 podcast episodes since the start of this global pandemic. She has also recently been named a Cloud Community Champion. She's very active on social media, on platforms like Twitter and Instagram, and also holds a 6-word job title at Dell Technologies, where she is an, I'll have to read that, EMEA Microsoft Hybrid Cloud Business Strategist. So welcome to the show. A very warm welcome to you, Lisa Clark. Great to have you here. Say hi, tell us more about yourself, and especially how you're doing today.
Hey guys, I am so excited, but also so nervous. It feels so strange to be on the other side, so not the one asking the questions. But yeah, I think you covered it pretty well, Izzy. I am Lisa Clark. I'm based in Dundee, Scotland. It's also apparently the sunniest city in Scotland, would you believe? It's actually really sunny today. It's roasting. This is why I have the blinds closed, because
we're all like
we can't. My hair will get put up halfway through this, but yeah, I think you covered it pretty well. I do have a rather long titled job description at Dell, but the basics are I work within the Azure Stack Engineering Technologist team that sit within the sort of business unit for hyperconverged infrastructure at Dell. And part of my role is to basically drive the Azure Stack business across EMEA, so supporting customers and our sales teams and doing enablement, etc., and working really closely with Microsoft. And yes, I did kick off a podcast at the beginning of lockdown, and it's kind of taken over my life. But it's been an awesome journey so far.
Well, we are excited to have you on the show. I'm a bit fangirling over here because I have been dying to meet you. We met on Twitter, and I'm so thankful for these social platforms that have brought different people together globally. So it's awesome to have you on the show, Lisa at the Edge. And we talked about a bit about your podcast. So I have been following you on Twitter and now Instagram. You have been doing things to make your office life better as we work from home. You've been going crazy with your podcast. Tell us a bit more about what you've been doing during COVID. And I have to say, personally, I love your transparency and honesty. COVID has given us a roller coaster of ups and downs, and you've highlighted all of it, but in a really fun, genuine way that I think has brought people a little bit closer to the Lisa Clark versus Lisa at the Edge. So tell us a bit about what you've been up to, Lisa.
So I think your word choice there of roller coaster is so perfect. I think that is exactly how I would describe my time during lockdown. So when it all kicked off and we went into lockdown in March, I kind of instantly went into how do I make the most of this situation? And I just knew that I needed to stay busy. So instantly I was like, right, well, I've always wanted to try out podcasting or do videos or, try and write blogs. I've been thinking about that a little bit at the beginning of the year when I came up with the Lisa at the Edge tagline for my Twitter, because I decided to sort of use Twitter to engage more with the tech community and the Microsoft community specifically. So I kind of was just like, right, let's do it. Let's get started. I started off with just my standard Jabra conference speaker and Zoom. And one of my friends, actually, my really good friends, she's an online personal trainer. You can find her at ESG Fitness on Instagram. And she runs loads of podcasts. And she was like, it's really easy. You just download Anchor. So she basically showed me what to do, and it was super simple. And I was kind of waiting until, I don't know, maybe I could be a bit more fancy with it. But I was like, screw it, let's just get stuck in. So my first guest was Darren Small. He is a Azure Stat Global Black Belt at Microsoft, but also he is from Scotland as well. So it was like, and I know him quite well. We may or may not have shared a few alcoholic beverages together. So it was just really, really easy for to like get him on as a guest. And then it just started from there, and I almost like couldn't stop myself. But and I think like for the first few weeks I was loving it because I was like, I have time to do everything that I wanted to do. But I mean, looking back on the past few months, there has been some pretty bad lows as well. Like it's been, as you say, a total roller coaster. And I am a pretty open book. So yeah, I've shared a lot of that on Twitter. I think a few weeks ago when I was having a really tough time, I had to postpone an episode actually because I basically couldn't stop crying. And I tweeted about it because, like you say, Holly, like everyone is in this together. And it was funny because I started to I noticed I lost a few followers on Twitter, and I was like, well, you need to be here for all of it. But yeah, so that's kind of how the podcast started, I suppose.
Yeah. Great. So yeah, you're already on episode 20, as we have seen. So we absolutely love the pace you're doing it. And then also when you said like that you were putting it on Twitter or on Instagram. So of course I've been following you for a while already. And I see you're very active. You think out loud with the rest of the world, which sometimes is very cute and also hilarious to follow. And so yeah, I know many of your decisions where you're actually thinking out loud and talking on Instagram stories about it. So what I would like to know, like how is that helping you to like share your feelings and the feedback you are getting back from the community or from your Instagram followers to actually process your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think I naturally like to, in case you haven't noticed, talk. But I like to talk through my ideas and my thoughts. Like I need to get them out of my head to be able to process them. And I think that's something I found really hard actually, being a remote worker and with lockdown. Because if you are working with other people or you're in an office, it's so easy to just voice out loud your thoughts and sort of help process them and then come to a decision. Quite often I know in my head what I want to do, but I have to verbalize it out loud. So speaking on Instagram stories, I actually started a good few years ago when I did prep for a bodybuilding competition. So I actually shared my entire journey, which was like 6 months of dieting and stuff. So that was super great. I got so much like positive feedback and support through that. And then during lockdown, it's been the same. So it's just helping me verbalize my thoughts out loud, but then people will respond and like give me their thoughts and stuff, which is really nice. And I think it's just been really important through lockdown because I've not been able to like see for months, I couldn't just go and see my friends.
Yeah. And you live on your own, right? You live alone.
Yes, I have 2 cats. I'm a crazy cat lady. Yeah, I was single in lockdown. So of course I could just like phone friends and you know, anytime I wanted, but I just think that sharing stuff on Twitter and Instagram is really cool. Sometimes people give social media a bad rep, but it's really helped me.
Yeah, good. And then I've also remember a few months back you were thinking out loud on your Instagram stories whether if you should like put your current account on private and open a second account for work, which would then be your Elisa at the Edge. Yeah. Eventually you did. You currently have 2 Instagram accounts. I follow you on both. And I'm very curious to know, because I have been thinking the same, but I was like, it's going to be too much work. I'll just keep it on one. How is it for you now, a few months later, to like take care of both Instagram accounts? One is for your private post and the other one is more business related. Like, how are you experiencing that?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know. Always. I don't know how I feel about it. Yeah, I think something that Holly said earlier about like sort of letting people into the Lisa Clark rather than Lisa at the Edge. This is something that's got me very confused. So when my my personal account, it was public. I had like quite a lot of followers, but people started making their way from sort of my Twitter. And it was fine. Most people were people that I really like know well from the community, and it really wasn't a big deal. But then I started to think, I don't know, like, is this professional? You know, all this kind of stuff. Like, Izzy, you've seen my personal account. This makes it sound like Girls Gone Wild or something. It's absolutely not. But I
like,
love
Lisa, what have you been doing?
Like, I love a selfie. I love nights out with my friends. Like you say, Izzy, I literally think out loud. I think out loud. I share everything, you know, when I'm done up, when I've gotten on makeup on, etc. So, but also because I started the blog and the podcast, I wanted like my handle to match and, you know, really to build this Lisa at the Edge brand thing. And so I thought it would be a good idea. And then actually I removed over 1,000 followers on my personal account, and I had like a total digital detox. And it actually really, you know, like when you spring clean, it actually felt really, really good. And it's actually, I don't spend as much time on Instagram that I used to, and I spend more time on Twitter. But I've still not come to a decision on what to do. And I do feel strange because, like Holly said, I don't feel comfortable being two different people. Like, at the end of the day, this is me. This is like what you get. So half of me is like, why not just continue to be myself, and people will need to deal with it.
And I think for me that's what I loved so much about your Twitter account is that I felt like you showed up as a genuine human versus this brand. And you humanized the whole COVID experience and just like the ups and downs of all of it. And then how, like, your pillow in the background, like, choose happy, like, you're acknowledging we have a choice how to handle it. And I think for myself, I agree with you. I think out loud, and then once all those thoughts are out loud, then I think, okay, now here's the rational decision I need to make. And so I actually love the brand of both that you've merged together.
Yeah, absolutely. Fully agree on that one. And I also have to say that, I mean, I follow you on both accounts, that I always see it's Lisa. So you're not having like two personalities where in one account you're this person and the other one you're another. You're all the time Lisa. You just limit maybe what you post on your work account. So yeah, we'll definitely keep following you. And then Lisa, you're of course part of our whole Women in Tech family, which Holly and I both strongly believe in. So I would love to give the stage to Holly to talk more about that topic.
Yeah, so for myself, a lot of people have said to me, your background is in hospitality. You ended up in, you know, sitting in engineering on Azure. You're a PM at Microsoft. How did that happen? And I think that a lot of people are asking that question. And so you work for Dell, you do all these amazing podcasts, you know, around Azure Stack, and you go pretty technical. I mean, I've listened to your podcast. They're amazing. You humanize it, you personalize it, you pull in very technical people to talk to. How did you get into tech? Tell us your story. Tell us what you do at Dell. And then let's pull back in the podcast piece. These podcasts are a lot of work. They're fun. They get us connected with the community, but they're work. So tell us how you got into tech, your Dell journey, what you do, and how these podcasts are just emphasizing your day-to-day job.
Yeah, absolutely. I must apologize. Kizzy is behind me meowing. She's actually trying to jump up on the, sorry.
Bring her on the show. Everybody's welcome. Cats.
I'm not actually sure what she wants. This is quite strange.
She just wants to say hi. She wants
you to be on the show.
Club.
Yeah, she's the real star, and she's making that known. Okay, so how did I get into tech? So funny that you mentioned the non-tech background. I actually have a degree in law, and I actually have a diploma in legal services. My initial dream was to become a solicitor. But that didn't work out for numerous reasons. And I got into tech because I took a part-time role actually at a small MSP within Dundee. I then sort of went to work for a defence company, and I did like bid and project management, and that's kind of where I got my first role working with software engineers, systems engineers, people who worked on algorithms and sonars, and I just loved the different people that I worked with. It was so cool. I came back to that small MSP in Scotland, in Dundee, and that's where I met like some of my best friends, so like Kenny Lowe and David Fleming. And do you know what? Like those guys are like such a key to why I am where I am and why I'm so excited about tech, because they spent the time with me in meeting rooms, whiteboarding, like what is virtualization, storage, compute, network, like the whole thing. And then we all found Azure Stack together, and like that's basically where it happened. And then I think, like you mentioned, Holly, on the podcast, I get really technical people in, and I can, to an extent, go quite technical, and I like to be able to do that. But kind of where I've been finding, I think, my niche is being able to translate the super technical to, like, what does that mean in terms of the business, or the business needs, or the customer, etc., and just being able to like bridge that gap. And that is also kind of what I do at Dell. So our team is full of like Microsoft rock stars. So we've got like MVPs and authors, and they can all go super deep technical on the hardware plus like the Azure software on top. And then I've come along as like this business development strategist to kind of plug that gap in terms of driving the business, closing the sales, being able to relay the positives of it to our sales teams and our customers. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into tech and where I am today. It's very much been and it still is, I'm kind of just following what excites me and my passion. I don't really have a plan.
And I think that's okay to not have a plan. Sometimes that's how things happen. And I think two things that you said that I think we should definitely highlight for people listening: how important mentorship is. I know that I have people on my team. I have, people like Mary Rodriguez and Jim Britt, and people that can take a concept and then explain it and help me follow their vision and understanding that here's how you do things in your career, and here's how you make things successful. And people like Kenny Lowe and all of our MVPs, they're all really, really important. And so one, I love that you mentioned the mentorship that ends up becoming good friends. I don't know what I would do without the MVPs that we've met. And then the other thing that you said that I think is really important for people that are non-technical that are in tech is the importance of having, just because someone can go really deep technically, I think there's a huge value in the people like us on this video today to say, hey, I can take something very technical, simplify it so that any audience and anybody listening, technical or non, can understand it and then use it in their day-to-day life. And I think those two things are really important and things that people don't always value and think about, but they're huge to me. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually been nominated for MVP for the last 3 years, and I have not yet filled in the application because when I look at MVPs, I'm not like, they're amazing, like I'm not an MVP, but we'll see where we are at the end of this year, and I'll see if I think I'm like worthy of applying, or if I have enough content and stuff to share. We'll see.
Don't underestimate yourself, Lisa, and definitely don't compare yourself to others out there. You're doing a fantastic job with your podcast, and just keep on doing, and I'm sure that dream eventually will come true. So as Holly has touched base on how you got into tech, was there more Holly you would like to ask?
No, I think we hit it. Yeah, I think showcasing the people that have brought you along their journey, and that you can be a non-technical, technical person and be successful in tech, I think is a huge message to get out to all of the community. So I'm glad that you brought that out. Wonderful.
And then indeed, speaking of mentorship, I do want to bring this up because it happened to be a very important topic in our previous episodes, and that's mommies. They play a very important role as mentors, and I feel, Lisa, the same also applies to you. I mean, it's very funny to see the interactions with you and your mom on Twitter. Like my mom is not on Twitter, so I would never have that with her. But it's also funny. You're also really showcasing what your mom has been doing during lockdown. So we have seen some very creative things coming by, for example, as scrunchies and teddy bears. I know you have it there around you, so please show it to us and tell us a bit more.
My mom is going to go mental about this. She actually said to the other, she was like, Lisa, do you mind me interacting on Twitter? Like, I don't need to. And I was like, no, Mum, you crack on. So it's funny because my mum is literally my biggest cheerleader ever. She has me saved in her phone as Lisa Star, and she would always say to me, She would always say to me, like, ever since I was younger, she would say, shine like the star you are. Like, she like literally drilled that into me. And it was so funny because when I did bodybuilding, she became like, honestly, it was so funny. She became like this expert in everything that I was doing. And like when I went to my show and I was updating her, she was like posting on social media and Facebook and sharing with my friends and stuff. So cute. She's like my #1 fan. So yes, my mum is super creative. Like, she's amazing at crafts. She makes like cushion covers, quilts. She makes like these teddy bears, which are
so cute.
So cute.
They're amazing, and they're like such amazing quality. Like, she doesn't give herself enough credit. Wonder where I get that from. But yeah, they're so cute. And then also what she's been making all through lockdown, and this is just like a small selection of them because there are tons of them in all different fabrics. She's been making scrunchies, and I've been giving them out to all my friends. And actually, there's so much left that I think I might put them up on my like website for people to like buy, because then I can give her the money to like buy more craft materials and like keep her going. But yes, yeah, my mom has been a big part of my life. She was a single mom, so she raised me and my little brother by herself. And she has always told me to go after like whatever I want, and always believed in me. So she's been a massive support.
How come every podcast, every recording we do, we get emotional?
Form, right?
Sorry?
I said after the call, you will go fill out that form, right? If your mom says to chase your dreams, to follow your dreams, then that's definitely something you'll have to do.
Yeah, I think I should probably fill out the form. We shall see.
All right.
So talking about all the positive things that are happening during COVID, there's a lot of people out there that decided to get furry little emotional pets to get us through the pandemic. Tell us about your little newfound friend in your home that's getting you through COVID, all scratched up and everything.
So I have a Maine Coon called Kizzy. She's just about to be 9. She is like my little sidekick, my ride or die. I love her. And I used to have Jax, but he suddenly passed away last summer. And since then, I've been debating as to whether to get another kitten. Because I think she's loved ruling roost and being the queen, but sometimes she just looks a little bit bored. And like, if I'm working on the computer all the time, like I can't play with her. So I got a kitten. She's not amused. But Zach is my new little furry friend. He's a ginger Maine Coon. And he's been treating me like a climbing tree.
Bring him in.
Okay.
I want to see him. Go get him.
Now you get to see that I'm actually just wearing shorts because I don't want.
We will blur it out. No worries.
No judgment on this show.
I'm also not standing up.
It's okay. I don't mind.
Oh.
He's really sleepy. It's really hot here right now, and he is like so sleepy.
Oh, that's just so incredibly cute.
Well, it just goes to show how much we need our furry friends.
Oh, I honestly don't know what I would have done without, because I've had him now for coming up for 2 weeks, but I do not know what I would have done without Kizzy. She like honestly kept me sane. But yeah, he's a sleepy boy, and he's going to get so big. His paws are huge.
Now, there was a lot on Twitter and Instagram as far as what the name would be. Drum roll, please. What did we decide?
We had decided to call him Zach.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Zach. Thank you for being a guest on the show.
So cute.
Yeah.
All right, Lisa. Then I think we've come close to the end of the show. We're very happy that you made time available to talk about your podcast, to talk about your career, to talk about your mom, about your cats, about your life in the past months, and to have this conversation with me and Holly. Keep on rocking. Keep on doing what you're doing. We're happy to follow your podcast as well as your other upcoming adventures. So with that, thank you very much, and wish you all a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. It was so awesome to meet you. See you later.
Bye. See you. Take care.
Okay, ready?
I'll put him down on my lap. Hold on. Should I do it to, what side should I do it to?
Yeah, whichever, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Just that it's visible. Wait, maybe like here, and then that's maybe better. How, like this, yeah. And then